Silence. It's a new season of Friday Night Prime Time here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live, and we kick things off with the Global MX-5 Cup here on iRacing from Summit Point. 12 drivers gonna take themselves into battle around this short but technical racetrack, pursuit of getting themselves towards the start of maybe a championship campaign. We start in 2 minutes here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live.
Watch Ernie, go, go, go. Car right, car right, car right, car right. Watch him, watch him, watch him, watch him. Damn it! Get ready. Dude, more heads up than that. Jeez.
Right on the back wing. Can he make it happen?
Yes! Yes! Push like hell. We gotta stay in front of these guys.
Both drivers on the push to pass. Contact in the pit lane.
All right, 60. Let that eagle fly. What do I do? What happened? Push here. Push hard. Let's go get this guy. Car outside. Through behind you. Control. Clear outside. Good job. Just spun behind you. I don't know if you got him or not.
He got out of it so hard. Look at these guys are all over the back.
Full throttle.
IndyCar. The in and out lap. What's next?
Come and get the checkers, big boy. Oh, baby, that was good. He hit me. Inside, inside, outside, inside, outside.
2017 Verizon IndyCar Series. See what's next.
Welcome to Summit Point Raceway and welcome to a new season of the iRacing Global MX-5 Cup here on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacing Live. As today, some of the best iRacing Mazda MX-5 drivers will take it out, duke it out on this short and twisty racetrack in pursuit of starting off a championship campaign. Friday Night Prime Time is a little bit different this season. We've got yourselves some fantastic action from this, the Global MX-5 Cup. And let's not forget, this is a simulated version of the real-life battery tender Global MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. we've also got ourselves some fantastic IMSA racing this season as well. And then for half the season, as ever, you get to choose what we show on Friday night. Voting is open now. Visit RaceSpot.tv/primetime. It's Will Vincent, along with Jack Stiles. Jack, good evening to you.
Good evening, Will. Good evening, everyone watching at home. We're going to bring you some awesome racing here tonight. We've got 4 pro drivers among the mix, that being Jesus Cecilia, Ade Copa Lopez, Adria Perez, and Wyatt Gordon. So we're going to see some brilliant racing here at Summit Point, and we hope we can make you enjoy that.
Well, let's have a look then at your starting grid for this evening. You see Jesus Cecilia at the front of your field here this evening. Qualifying time for him of 1 minute 21.392. Ade Copa Lopez alongside him, front row of the grid, 121.573. And it is a Club Iberia 1-2-3 with Omar Soto Jr. in the 3rd place. Wyatt Gooden, the first non-Iberia driver. He's in P number 4 here today. Let's get that into perspective. That's 1/4 of the way down this field, Jack.
It is, and for Wyatt Gordon, someone who we usually expect to see up the front, that's a bit shocking. He's only 3/10 off the pole. Jesus Cecilia put an amazing pole up there of 1:21.3, so I think the racing is going to be close. Everyone is covered by just over a second. 1.3 seconds covers the whole 12-car field here this evening.
Adria Perez in P number 5. Logan Clampett then, P number 6, Patrick Fields, and Gerardo Babino Ramos in P number 8. There's a remainder of the results up on your screen right then here today. 12 drivers, small field, but it's a small track. And we're going to go racing here today for 15 laps around this Summit Point Raceway. Turn number 1 is always going to be the one that people will think about here. As we just have a look there from our aerial coverage, it is worth noting this Summit Point Raceway, that turn number 1 can make or break races very, very easily. And it's also worth noting we're using the long run down in towards turn 1 here today, and that will make things even more interesting. Drivers are lined up already on the starting grid. They are ready to get a new season of racing on Friday night prime time underway. Just waiting for the last couple of drivers. And then we, here on RaceSpotTV, will be able to do so too. Don't forget, RaceSpot Race Day tomorrow morning here with the RaceSpotTV Formula Renault Sim Cup and the RaceSpotTV Super Cup, leading in to the 6th round of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, where Martin Cronke's dominated all season long. But now, it's time for the Miatas, the MX-5, a new season of racing. Green flag out. Here we go then. A new season is officially underway as the drivers will come down in towards turn number 1 for the first time. It is an Iberia, an Iberia, call it what you will. Front 3 drivers as they come down in towards that first corner for the first time, and there's a little bit of contact into that first corner. They will all make it through though without too many incidents, and now it's a case of working themselves through that technical, difficult turn 3-4 complex. We have got some 2-wide racing going on, as you see down the pack there, but the aim as you work yourself out of turn number 3, as we've got contact down in your mid-pack there. That was with Patrick Fields, I think. We'll get an update on that in a moment, is to try and get yourself single file. And I think we saw part of the reason why very quickly there, because you go 2 wide through turn number 3, Jack, it becomes very difficult very, very quickly.
I mean, that turn number 3 is difficult in any car, and these Mazdas have got not a lot of grip. They are very difficult to drive, and Patrick Fields just got a bit sideways in that number 10 car coming through 3 and hit the number 4 car of Babio Ramos. So Ramos has already sustained some damage on the first lap of this race, and hopefully it won't affect him too much. These cars obviously not very aero dependent because of how little power they have. They do need all the aero they can get, actually, because of how little power they have. But Jesus Cecilia leads as we come across the line to finish the first lap.
Yep, lap number 1 in the books. Live timing and scoring is now available here on RaceSpotTV. Just visit RaceSpot.tv/timing at the front of your field. Well, Heza Cecilia does lead the way in this motor race there. We can see him, and there's the gap to Ade Copa Lopez running in second place right now. It's minuscule. It's a car length and a half as they come down now into this turn number 3, that long left-hander. And the thing about that corner is it tightens up on corner exit, Jack, and that really is what catches people out as they end up into the gravel.
It does. I mean, you've seen people who drive on the iRacing service were just in the Porsche Cup here a couple of seasons ago, and that corner number turn number 3 there is very hard. You've got that very quick direction change as well. In these cars it doesn't affect them as much, but in the faster cars it does. And then you're into that very tight twisty section around the top of the circuit before you're heading back out down the long straights down towards that final turn onto the main straight. But not a lot happening so far. We saw that little bit of contact coming out of turn 3 on the first time, but other than that, everyone's sort of settling down, running in line, and at the moment it's Club Iberia holding top 3 positions, or probably all 3 of them will want to be able to challenge for that place in the 2017 Mazda Road to 24 shootout. Ade Copa Lopez obviously had that chance last year, and I am pretty sure he will want that chance again after losing out on the scholarship, which would give him a whole year in the battery tender Global MX-5 Cup out in the United States.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic competition as well. And the battery tender Global MX-5 Championship, the idea is to get it running in America, in Europe, and in Asia as well. So we're right on board then with Logan Clampett. We did have a couple of issues with our timing and scoring. Don't worry, it is fixed for a year right now, as you'll see. Ticker running along the top of your screen. But that's the opportunity. You win this championship, you do win this championship, you get the chance to race and give yourself the opportunity to spend a season running with Mazda. Glenn McGee has done this. He's a former, he is an iRacing member. I went out about a year ago to see him at Road Atlanta, and I will say the competition is so fierce because let's not forget, this is a spec series. You know, they get the same car, Jack, and there's very limited things they can do to change on that car. It comes down, yes, to what your mechanics can do, but also what you can do behind the wheel.
Spec series makes it even more interesting in my opinion. Obviously we have many of them across the world. Obviously the Formula Renault 2.0, which we also have on the iRacing service, there are thousands. Formula Ford, I could sit here naming spec series all day, and it just means that the drivers get to show what they really can and what they're really capable of, which is completely different to a series where you've got different cars, such as GT3. You've got different cars, and every car will have its strength and weakness. Having a spec series means it is very much down to the driver and how the driver can manipulate the car in getting it around the circuit. This is something that is also apparent in the Mazda MX-5 here on iRacing. It is a tough car to drive fast. These guys are 4 seconds a lap quicker than me around here. I cannot get anywhere close to these guys. These guys know how to get their head around these cars, and Ade Copa Lopez is really going for Heza Cecilia for that lead. Cecilia is doing very well at the moment to hold off that number 3 car of Lopez.
Yeah, we also saw Patrick Fields as well. He's been involved in 2 wide battles. There you can see him on the right-hand side in that number 10 machine. He lost the position, and again, he's in the wars, and that's going to allow the number 6 machine there, Pablo Castro, to get himself past as well. So Patrick Fields has fallen well down in this field here today into P number 10, but we have got ourselves a 4-way battle at the front of your field. That is Heza Cecilia, Ade Copa Lopez, Amir Soto Jr. and Wyatt Gooden. Also worth noting, of course, that the Battery Tech Global MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich actually moving to IndyCar sanctioning this year. So moving away from the SSCA lineage over now to IndyCar sanctioning, and that means that we're going to see new tracks for these drivers over the course of the next couple of seasons. 2 wide, 2 deep, turn number 1. Heza Cecilia versus Ade Copa Lopez. You got yourself Omar Soto Jr. in the mix there as well. That is the yellow and black car. He's now just managed to work himself up into second place there, and Omar Soto Jr. all of a sudden becoming a factor in this event.
He snuck his way up into third there. Oh no, into second, sorry, and we just had a pass there for second, getting past Ade Copa Lopez, dropping down to third there. So Soto Jr. could be challenging for the lead, and definitely looks like he wants to. Wyatt Gordon also just sitting there trying to find his way past Lopez in that number 2 Radicals Online car. But these 4 leaders they haven't really stretched out much. The top six covered by less than 2 seconds. And as you go back down into the field, P7 and P12 are also covered by less than 2 seconds, just the second half. So we're seeing two distinctive groups being formed here, and obviously the second group being led by Logan Clampett, I think. Ramos in that number 4 car. But these guys really trying to start to make up the positions as we see Copa Lopez has dropped down to the 3rd on this lap. Wyatt Gordon is not giving up his chase. And Adria Perez there just sitting in the clutches waiting to see if anything is going to happen to these leading 4.
Here comes Omar Soto Jr. then, thinking about going to the outside, thinking about going to the inside, into turn number 1. As the number 2 machine there, Wyatt Gooden, runs into the rear of Ade Copa Lopez. That slows him down, and that immediately breaks this front pack in half. Because there you can see Gooden versus Clampett now. They're going side by side into that turn number 3. Gooden getting very loose on the entry into the corner. You got yourself Logan Clampett there, right behind him, as well as Adria Perez. And this immediately has cost all 3 of these drivers 2 seconds. That top group has now been separated into 2 as we ride on board then with Adria Perez. You just see how much he's sawing the wheel there as they work themselves for the infield section of this racetrack. This is where you really do need to be single file. But Wyatt Gooden there, one little tap, and all of a sudden he has lost himself over 1.5 seconds to Ade Copa Lopez. He can build that one back up, but for the moment, Wyatt Gooden is in no man's land. He's all of a sudden got a 1.1 second advantage over Logan Clampett, and that's because Clampett and Adria Perez were basically running side by side through the infield. And in fact, those 2 drivers have now been caught by Pablo Castro and Rook Garcia as well. So 1 lap, everything's changed here, Jack.
It has, and Ramos managed to lose 2 positions in the space of 3 corners. The number 9 and the number 6 just sneaking their way up the inside of Ramos, although saying that, he's now got Patrick Fliss on the outside trying to make a move. He's going to duck to the inside, but unfortunately the move cannot be done. He's had the door shut on him. But these guys at the back, as we see, nearly going 3 wide from the 3 leaders coming into turn 3. And looks like there may have been a little touch from Junior into the back of Jesus Cecilia there. But these guys not giving up. They want, every single one of them wants that lead, because every single point is going to be important in this race for the 2017 Mazda Road to 24 shootout.
Indeed, so that is Omar Soto Jr. then. We're having a look. We were on board of him for a moment as he runs in that 3rd place. He has allowed Ade Copa Lopez back up into 2nd place as the Cecilia leads this race, as he's pretty much done all race long. There are your movers and shakers. You'll notice that at the line, Soto Jr. is up 1 place. He has now lost that position to Ade Copa Lopez. Clampett up 1 place, Perez down 1. Pablo Castro and Rook Garcia up 3 places. Patrick Fliss is down 3 places, as is Nicholas Taymans. He is out at the very rear of this field. He's only 20 seconds behind your race leader, but in this kind of race, 20 seconds is pretty much everything. Here's Cecilia, leads and past the stripe once again. Then Ade Copa Lopez 2nd, looking to the outside, in towards turn number 1. Copa Lopez hoping to see if the outside line will work long term. It doesn't, and that's going to allow Omar Soto Jr. now the opportunity to go down alongside as we have a look from our heli camera. And you will see on the right-hand side of your screen, you've got yourself Omar Soto Jr. Left-hand side was Ade Copa Lopez. Copa Lopez, better line into turn number 3. That means a single file once again, but Soto Jr. hasn't yet given up. He now is really trying to hound Copa Lopez into the infield section, not able to do so. Worth noting, hello, Wyatt Gooden is back in the fray. He's only 1/2 second now behind Omar Soto Jr.
Yeah, he definitely is, and also the group behind him, the group led by Logan Clampett in the number 1 car, they are closing fast. They're only now about 3 seconds behind Jesus Cecilia in the lead. So these guys not stretching out, everyone running similar pace, but the lead 4 are back together. Cecilia Lopez, Soto Jr. and Wyatt Gooden really trying to go for that, but Logan Clampett, you've got a group of about 5 or 6 cars there behind it. We could have a 9-way battle for the lead by the end of this, Will.
We could, and part of the issue of this track is it can be difficult to overtake at point. There you'll see P number 6, 3.1 seconds behind your race leader, Adria Perez versus Jesus Cecilia. It's 3 seconds right now. Perez, look down to the outside. Turn number 1. Moving up into P number 5, shall we? Because there's Logan Clampett going to lose the position in that number 1 JDR graphics machine. At the front of your field, Hezza Cecilia, carrying on doing what he's done all race long. We've got to remember, actually, Cecilia has led every single lap of this motor race.
He has so far. He's doing a sterling job at the front of this field. He's been able to defend off every single challenge he's had so far for that lead, and he's done a sterling job. Not even a scratch on that car by the looks of it, unlike some of the other cars in the field. But I think we could see that a strong challenge from the other three who are behind him. Logan Clampett's just dropped off a bit now, back to about 3 seconds back from Jesus Cecilia in the lead. But the Group 4 are not filling up White and Edge. I think he's just sitting there waiting for something to happen to the front three. Let's see what happens. Obviously, Soto Jr. dropping off the back a bit, but Ade Copa Lopez and Jesus Cecilia running neck and tail. They have been all race so far, and I think this battle is going to go to the line as we cross the line with 6 laps to go.
We've got to remember as well that even though it's a chance to qualify for the road to 24, and this is just the first race of the season, in the back of people's heads, they may be thinking, what can I do now to impress the judges? If you are Ade Copa Lopez, do you want to make a dive bomb on Hezza Cecilia for the win in a very tight, close manoeuvre that may, in some circumstances, be classified as too aggressive? Because this is a broadcaster's race here, Jack. The judges may go back and have a look at this sort of thing when they make their decisions. It's not just about who is the fastest on the day when they have the shootout. It's about the way they conduct themselves at the same time as well. And what I'm seeing here today is a very different first race of the championship to what I saw 1 year ago.
It certainly is, and I mean, obviously, most people should know that Mazda's motorsport program, the top of that motorsport program is their DPI, and that runs in the Inter Sports Car Series. Now, the idea of the Inter Sports Car Series is endurance racing. It's not sprint racing like we're seeing today. This race will be done in 5 laps. It will be done in about 10 minutes. IMSA races last 2 3/4 hours, so it's all about being consistent, being safe, and keeping the car on the tarmac. These drivers, or Mazda will be looking in these drivers for people who are consistent and for people who aren't going to throw it out the road every opportunity they get to pass the car in front. Because you not only have to deal with people in your own class, you have to deal with people in other classes. IMSA is a multi-class event. We see it here on the iRacing service with the DP, the GTE, and the GT3s. Obviously, in real life, we have the DPI. So Mazda are definitely going to want to be looking at the technical side and the more racecraft side of it, but I think Ade Copa Lopez might be looking up the inside of Jesus Cecilia going into turn 1, but the move just isn't going to go off. We've got just under 5 laps to go now. Everyone's still running nice and clean, trying to impress those judges and trying to be selective for that scholarship next year.
Logan Clampett just moving himself past Pablo Castro. Got to remember as well the IndyCar side of things, remembering that the MX-5 Cup Series is now sanctioned by IndyCar. Well, the top of that ladder is the Pro Mazda Series. Of course, the Indy Light Series. And who can forget the 4-wide finish that we had in the Freedom 100 a couple of years ago? You want to run in the Indy Light Series? Well, you've got to be used to picture precision moment, like what we saw Patrick Dempsey do to win the Freedom 100 a couple of years ago. There's Patrick Fliss up into P number 8. He's recovered some positions, but there is still damage to that race car. Front of your field, less than 5 laps to go, as we just mentioned. And your top 8 are as follows right now. It is Hezza Cecilia from Ade Copa Lopez, Omar Soto Jr., Wyatt Gooden in 4th, Logan Clampett, Pablo Castro, Adrian Perez, and Patrick Fliss rounds out your top 8 as we now have 4 laps worth of motor racing to go at the line. And let's go on board then for a couple of corners with Wyatt Gooden. Here's RaceSpotTV fan immersion. So Jack, that was the fast part of the racetrack. Now we're into that twisty-turvy phase, and that's the thing about Summit Point. It really is a track of 2 halves. Now, it's not just about sitting behind the driver, it's trying to get exit velocity out of this section to lead yourself down towards the final corner. And what a lot of drivers will start doing now is they'll start thinking about, if I can get a good run out of here, can I use the advantage to get maybe alongside out of the final corner towards the start-finish line?
I mean, that that exit off the S's out of turn 7 and 8, that is incredibly important, because the momentum you take out of there, you're going to be carrying all the way down to turn 1. Because in these cars, that is a very fast section of the circuit, that last bit. Turn 9, turn 10 in the main straight is very fast, as we see 2 wide, 2 deep again coming down the main straight. But these cars, you're going to want all the momentum you can get. You need all the velocity you can get. Without that, you are not going to be able to make a pass. And we've just seen Ade Lopez try again, and I don't know whether he's made it stick. He's still on the inside of Jesus Cecilia, but I think he's just had to drop back in a mid-defeat there. No, he's gone. No, side by side as we come through turn 3. No contact. That is a brilliant move by just pushing him a bit wide. And I think, no, they're still side by side. This is brilliant racing, Will. This is what the judges will want to see.
But Ade Lopez, he has got the move done, or has he? He pushes wide, and he's going to take both of them out there. Down in turn number 5, and that's the issue. You push wide down in that 4th corner, and you end up really causing yourself some issues. Replay is coming up for you now. Here we are. Look on board, well, look from above, and you just see the 2 just glance. Number 3 machine there, just running wide, no grip at all. That is Ade Lopez ending the race for him and his teammate Jesus Cecilia, and that means as a consequence, Omar Soto Jr. now leads this motor race with 2 laps to go. It's Soto Jr. versus Wyatt Gooden as they head themselves towards and past the stripe. New leader, it's Omar Soto Jr. and Wyatt Gooden all of a sudden, after being pushed down to within 3 seconds of your race leader, all of a sudden now smells blood. He goes to the outside, but it's 1 versus 1, and this will favour the driver who is 2nd place out of turn number 1 on the final lap, Jack.
It surely will, and I think that mistake from Ade Lopez could play badly to the judges. Obviously, these cars, not a lot of grip, and they are quite hard to drive, so taking a little bit too much speed into that turn number 4 into the chute there, that's just a bit too much. But Wyatt Gordon definitely trying to get this race lead from Omar Soto Jr. And Omar Soto Jr. is not letting him have it. He is covering all the lines, but just running a little bit wide through turn 5. But Wyatt Gordon can't make the move stick. So Omar Soto Jr. is still leading this race with just under a lap and a half to go, sorry. But Wyatt Gordon really wants that race win. He wants all the points he can get, because I bet he would love to be in a Mazda in the Mazda Global MX-5 Mazda Cup next season.
Yep, Texan driver versus Iberia driver. Then here comes Omar Soto Jr. towards the final corner for the penultimate time. White flag out. 1 more lap to go. We're going to stay on board Wyatt Gooden for a moment then. Number 2, Radicals Online machine. As they come past the start or finish line, that white flag is out. Here we are. 1.5 minutes worth of racing to go. Will Gooden try and go for the attack early on? The answer to that question is, he's going to go to the outside. And he is not. Oh, he's got issues. He's got issues there. Contact between the 2 of them. And it's going to mean drivers going to have to swarm to avoid him as they work themselves through turn number 1. That's Logan Clampett and Pablo Castro. Replay coming up for you right now. This is Gooden from our aerial coverage in towards turn number 1. Gooden there on the white line, getting himself loose into the corner, tags the left-hand side of Omar Soto Jr. Soto Jr., however, is able to carry on. Now what that means is Soto Jr. basically can cruise it home to the end of this motor race, because he has got a huge lead. There you can see the trailing drivers around him. Logan Clampett actually now leads this 2nd pack right now in the number 1 machine. He is down in 2nd place, but he cannot, unless Soto Jr. runs out of fuel, and that is never going to happen at this stage in the motor race. It is going to be Omar Soto Jr. heading himself now through the final corner for the final time, and the number 8 machine of Omar Soto Jr. holds on after Wyatt Gooden tags his left-hand side on the 1st corner of the final lap, and he will win the 1st round of the iRacing Global MX-5 Cup. Logan Clampett will come home in 2nd place here this evening, and 3rd place, well, that one will go to Pablo Castro there. What a last couple of laps we've just had, as we need to have a quick check up on Jesus Cecilia coming home in P number 9, Ade Lopez in P number 10. Those 2 drivers did not expect to be out the top 5. They were thinking and hoping for the race win. But today we'll go to number 8 machine of Omar Omar Soto Jr., he wins the first round of the championship. And well, there are the results up on your screen for you right now. Here you'll see Wyatt Gooden, by the way, did have the fastest lap of the motor race, but he threw his race away basically on that first corner of the last lap. We'll show you a replay of that one in a couple of moments' time. Soto Jr. wins, Clampett second, Pablo Adura Castro in third, Wyatt Gooden in fourth, and Adria Perez rounds out your top five, with Patrick Fliss, Rook Garcia, Gerardo Babina Ramos, Jesus Sicilian, and Ade Copa Lopez rounding out the top 10. Jack, very interesting last couple of laps.
That was a super interesting last couple of laps. No one could really tell what was going to happen until the win across the line. Obviously, congratulations to Soto Jr. for that amazing win. Just being able to keep the car on the circuit and not be involved in incidents clearly paid off and meant that he won the race. So that was a very interesting race, lots of incidents. It was very open. No one really knew what was going on. Obviously, Jesus Sicilia and Ade Copa Lopez, probably the biggest disappointment of the whole race. Those two colliding just with a few laps to go. That was quite a shock. I'm surprised to see those two contact each other. They're both regulars in these top split races and both World Championship licenses. You'd think they maybe would have given each other a bit more room, and Ade Copa Lopez might have had a little bit more car control, but obviously these cars, not a lot of grip. They are very hard to control at high speed, so accidents happen, and obviously that will just go down to a racing incident. But Omar Soto Jr. and also Logan Clampett, that was a brilliant drive to bring that car home second, gained 4 positions there, and Castro gaining 7. So just showing that keeping the car clean and running just fast, consistent laps can actually do some good and end you with a good result.
Yeah, there we can see then the contact between Wyatt Gooden on the left-hand side of your screen and the number 8 machine, your race winner, Omar Soto Jr., coming in towards turn number 1. There you see the two drivers just coming together. Now, we've got to remember as well that Wyatt Gooden did have some damage to the rear of that number 2 machine that might have made that a little bit more tail-happy in the final couple of laps. Let's see if we can get ourselves a quick replay on board with Wyatt Gooden. We're just trying to see if we can have a look here. There we are. We're on board with him in towards turn number 1. There's the contact. And let's see if we can get ourselves one more quick look then with Omar Soto Jr. See if we can see anything from his on board as well. You should just see there in the mirror coming across the two making contact. But at the end of it, it's Omar Soto Jr. who wins out here today in the first round of the iRacing Global MX-5 Cup. Presented, of course, by Mazda. Next week on Friday night primetime, we'll take ourselves IMSA Racing. Don't forget, a number of weeks you can vote on what we show here on RaceSpotTV on Friday night. Visit RaceSpot.tv/primetime for more information on that one. And don't forget, tomorrow we've got ourselves round number 6 of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. That is preceded by RaceSpot Race Day, the 6th round of the Formula Renault Simba Cup. Sim Cup, that's the one we mean. The RaceSpotTV Formula Renault Sim Cup and the RaceSpotTV Super Cup. So join us tomorrow, all day long, for RaceSpot Race Day and the 6th round of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. In the meantime, from Jack Stars, I've been Will Vincent. We'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye.